Hi to the one who is watching this video. I welcome you to Syntax Error by Pratiksha Jain. In this video, we're going to look after the Python code to find out the statistical data like mean, median, mode, mid-range, range, quartiles, Q1, Q2 and Q3, then IQR, variance and standard deviation. So without wasting time, let's move to the code. For the very first thing, I have just given a hard-coded data items. You can also take the data items from the user. The formula for mean is summation of all the data items divided by number of data items. So I have taken your sum of all the data items. That means all the data items will be added. And then I have taken len data item. That means this function will find out how many data items are present. For more clarification of mean, let's print, just a second. I'll just comment all this out. So for mean, let's print sum of data items and the result. So the sum of all the data items is 809 and the number of data item is 27. So let's see what's the mean that we get. So print mean. The mean that we get is 2.96. So that means after divide we get mean as 29.96. So in this so in this print statement, I have just restricted the decimal numbers to 2. So only 96 will be printed. Moving forward, talking about the median. When I talk about the median, it is n plus 1 divided by 2. That means n is the length of the data items, that is 27, plus 1 divided by 2. So, and I have converted all this into int because I want the answer in int and not in floating value because over here the index starts with 0, but I want to count till -1. So in this print statement, what I have done is I have just taken whatever median value I will get. I am not taking the median value in float. I have converted it to int. So suppose if the median value that I get is 26 point something. So when I convert into int, it will be 26. So 26 minus 1. I'm doing it 26 minus 1 because the data has been counted from 0. But when we count physically while solving the sum, we count from 1. So for that, I have just subtracted by 1. So if the median I get is 26, then the final answer will be 25. So we'll print this later and let's see what answer we'll get. Then it is mode. So the mode is the maximum numbers that we have, max numbers that we have in data items or data sets. Max number in the sense, this is a data set. So over here, 13 is repeated, it is only once. 15 is also only once. 16 is twice. 19 is also 1. 20 is twice, 21 is 1, 22 is twice, and 25 is 4 times. 30 is 1, 33 is twice, 35 is 4 times, 36 is 1, sorry. Then 40 is once, 45 is once, 46 is once, 52 is once, and 70 is once. So the maximum numbers that we have is 35, that is 4 times, and 25, 4 times. That means these two numbers are repeated maximum numbers of time. So my mode should be 25 and 35. Suppose if the 25 was 5 times, so my mode would be 25 instead of 25 and 35. But here there are 2. So I have just written a function named my underscore mode. Let's see what this function does. Yeah, this is the function, and I have just simply imported counter from collections. And what is this doing is, it is simply counting the samples. Now the number of samples that I have passed here is, I have passed here data items. That means this set of numbers. So this will be counted first. The counter will count it. Then it will be stored in C. And this is a list comprehension function, or you can say list comprehension method that I've used here, technique that I've used here. So what it will return is K, it is just a variable. For K, it is key and value in C dot items. That means the items which are there in this C value, like after counting this, after the whatever the result is, counter, sample, the things that are being stored in C are being looked forward. And if V is equal to, that means my value is equal to C dot most common. That means the items that are present in this C dot most common will be printed, will be returned. So we first count the observation in the sample, or you can say the data items using a counter object C. Then we use a list comprehension to create a list containing the observations that appear the same number of times in the sample. So what it is being told here, that we have created a list comprehension that returns or that looks after the numbers that have been repeated same numbers of time and they have been stored into a list. Then since dot most common one, this part returns a list with one tuple of the form observation, comma count. Observation, comma count in the sense, suppose I have 25 and 35 as we saw before. So it will return 25, comma, how much time it has been repeated, 35, how much time it has been repeated, and other data items and how much time they have been repeated. So we need to get the observation at index 0 in the list and then the item at index 1 in the nested tuple. Then this can be done with the expression. Now what here it has been done is, it has simply been compared. Suppose in first tuple, the observation I got is 13, and then in second tuple I got is 15. So now this 13 and 15 will be compared, like how many times they have been repeated. For now they have been repeated only once, but when I compare 16 and 15 and 13, then 16 is repeated maximum numbers of time. So 13 and 15 gets excluded and 16 gets included. That means 16 gets counted. So likewise till 70 it is being observed and the counts are being read. So as I said, mode should repeat the maximum numbers that we have in data items or maximum numbers of count that we have in data items. So it should return 25 and 35. Then is, let's look after range first. So range is max data items minus by mean data item. That means the highest data item, that is 70, minus 30, that is a mean data item. And mid range formula is mean data item, that means 13, plus max data item, that is 70, divided by 2. Now let's look after quartiles. What quartile 1 says is that it is the median of first half. So to get the median of first half, that means I want only this part, half part of the data item. So I have to divide the length by 2 and then simply n plus 1 divide by 2 again, because we want to get the median, and I have simply written int over here because I have to again do minus 1 as I have done for median over here in the print statement. Next, what quartile 2 says that it is same as the median value. Then quartile 3 is n plus 1 into 0.75, or you can say that quartile 3 is median of second half. That means it is median of this half instead of this half. Now IQR formula is Q3, that is quartile 3 minus quartile 1. Then variance says that, okay, so I have taken again a function called variance. Let's just look after it. Yeah, what here it is being done is, I have taken value is equal to 0, temp is equal to 0 for I and data items. I have just taken a variable to iterate through the data items. Then temp is equal to I minus 29.96. Now I have taken 29.96 because it is the mean of this data item, or instead of taking 29.96, I could have taken, now I know that the mean for this data item is 29.96. That is why I have taken 29.96. As I said, I'll be restricting the decimal point. So if I don't know the data items or the data set, if I'm taking it from the user, then we can write your mean instead of directly giving the value, and then I have just added it to value. What this temp variable is doing, it is just storing the value for once and then it is going for another value. But what value variable is doing is, it is just adding up all the values given by temp variables and then we'll be dividing by len of data items. Now for standard deviation, what I have done is, I have just directly taken the function. Here I have passed on data items. I have taken num and temp as variables for I and data items again. So I'm just simply adding the num value with I minus mean raised to 2 and storing it in num value, and then I'm returning the final num value by dividing it by data items into 0.5. Now let's look after the result of all the values. Okay, so let me just run this. Quartiles is not defined. Okay, sorry, my bad. Yeah. Okay, so these are the data items. Mean, as I said, I have restricted the decimal numbers. Median is 25. Mode is 25 and 35 as we found it before. Mid range is 41.5. Range is 57. Quartile 1 is 20. Quartile 2 is 25 because it is related to median. Quartile 3 is 35. IQR is 15. Variance is 161.29. Again, I have restricted the decimal. And standard deviation is 12.70. Again, I have restricted the decimal. I hope you had found this video interesting and important. Thank you for watching this video and do subscribe. Thank you.